train these guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fishing with the K's. If you're new to the channel, my name is Johnny, and today I'm gonna talk a little bit about my practice day out on a small local lake. If you didn't see my previous video, I talk a little bit about the things that I do to prepare for an upcoming fishing trip. And so again, it's first week of December. This is the first time I'm fishing this weekend. On this particular weekend, and based on the weather forecast, I knew it was going to be a wet and cold one. So, you know, you would think I wouldn't be excited about getting out there, but still somehow managed to wake up 2 hours prior to my alarm. And so Saturday was a super long day. But well, all right, that's enough of me yapping. Just as expected, when I get out to the lake, you know, it was a little wet. One of the things I wasn't expecting was to see a little bit of debris in the water. There was lots of floating logs and limbs by the boat ramp that we launched from. And it was also a lot foggier than I was thinking. And so luckily I was going to spend the majority of this afternoon just preparing for the next day's fishing challenge with some local buddies, and took it easy and just idled around, and was really focusing on you know, ditches in the main lake. And so you know, grafted some of those ditches, and didn't really see much. Graphed the ledge, didn't really see much there. And after about 30 minutes of graphing around, I got bored and decided to just fish high percentage ditches. And so again, if you watch my previous videos, you know, I kind of had a somewhat of a game plan together of how I was going to fish on this practice day. And so I chose some of those high percentage areas, and you know, tried a few different lures based on the conditions, and just never really felt comfortable. You know, I had a game plan together. The water was up higher than I was expecting, and so in the areas that I was targeting, I didn't get to fish them the way I wanted to. And what I mean by that is, you know, ideally I wanted to sit in the ditch in the deeper end, throw up on the flat where it was shallower, and then kind of fish through the little ledge or drop point. Well, when I got there, the water was up, and the crankbait that I wanted to fish just didn't get down to the depth that I wanted to. Now, I'm one of these guys where, you know, when I'm fishing a crankbait, I want it to hit the bottom, right? So I wanted to rip through the bottom, bouncing off rocks and all other good stuff. And so I was sitting in, you know, let's say 20 foot of water, throwing up on 14 foot, and my crankbait was only getting down to 12. And so it wasn't quite hitting the bottom. And I just never really felt comfortable, right? And so to offset that, I decided to throw a big heavy spinner bait and slow roll it. And, you know, I never fish a big spinner bait, and never felt comfortable doing that. It's been a while since I've thrown a drop shot and a shaky head. Those are more summertime deals for me, but you know, I figured you know, I can kind of pitch out to those fish that were sitting on the bottom, and you know, just let that bait or lure get all the way down there and then kind of drag it across. And just could never get anything going. You know, I knew those fish were sitting on the bottom based on my Garmin live scope, and just didn't feel like I can get the bait there. And so got frustrated with it, checked to see if they were shallow, and didn't have much luck there. Again, I felt like it was raining on and off throughout the day, and ran across a nice little pile of crappie, and you know, messed around with them for a little bit, and was only able to get one bite.
Big old slab.
You know, in that little swim bait. If you've seen the channel, then you know I like to throw this little small 3-inch swim bait. I think this is a 1/4 ounce head, and was able to get a nice little crappie out of there. And you would think we'd be able to get more out of that bunch because they were stacked up in there, but wind was blowing around a little bit and didn't really have the right setup to catch those crappie. And so after messing around with them for, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, decided I better get back to bass fishing. So, scouted around some few different areas, and the main items that I was targeting were creek channel swings that were going into a flat. And so, went up to one of the major creeks there, and I saw where the creek channel swing up against this marina, and it got pretty shallow in that area. And so as soon as I put down the trolling motor, I could see a bunch of activity on my screen. Again, this is my live scope screen, and so threw out a rattle trap, right? And so as I mentioned earlier, I didn't feel like I can get the crankbait down into the depth that I want to, and so I threw on a big heavy so what I did was threw on a rattle trap type bait. I believe this one is made by 6 Cents. And so fired this guy out there, saw the bait fish, reeled it in quick to keep it above the bait fish and higher in the water column, and was able to catch this guy.
Rectangle.
All right, so after that, I figured I was onto something. Again, was around a lot of bait, and the only other fish I was able to catch was a drum, and I think I caught one of those drums. Caught a drum, and again back on that 3-inch swim bait. I just feel like this is my crutch lure, as I super confident in it and can always catch a fish here and there. At least I feel like I can. And even though we didn't catch a whole lot of bass on this trip, actually we only caught one, it was a good practice session because I was able to kind of narrow down the lures that I wanted to fish along with the area. And I got to dial in my live scope a little bit more. I've always had live scope on my boat for the last 2 or 3 years, and but I originally had the older transducer, which is the LVS 32. I recently upgraded to the LVS 34, and I didn't think that would be that much difference. And it's amazing how much better I can see my bait, fish, and items in the water column. So really glad I updated my transducer. I think that's all I got, guys. I had a little fun with my buddies. Again, they knew we were gonna go out there and fish on Sunday, and of course they asked about my practice session, and I didn't really say whether or not I caught fish. I did send them a picture of my thumb. It'd probably be hard to see in this camera, but when you catch a few fish, you got some roughed up skin from the fish's mouth. And so they asked me how the fishing was. I sent them a picture of my thumb and just a little smiley face. I didn't tell them a lie. I mean, I didn't say I caught bass. Like, I caught a drum and 2, and didn't really figure anything out, but I had a lot of fun preparing for the trip and fishing against my buddy the next day, which is today. And so I will be making a video about today's trip. Weather was a lot better and fishing was a little bit better. And so again, if that's something that you want to see and you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's content. If you're still with me, I appreciate you. Hopefully the weather is better where you're at. Until next time, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.